Hello, and welcome to Strong Not Stuck. And so, this is about safe movement for pregnancy and postpartum recovery. I'm Dr. Saiah, and I'm here with Dr. Val. And so, we're so glad to have you here. What I will say is, if you missed the live masterclass, please join us for the next one. We had such a good time, good conversations, good interactions in our chat, and we always have goodies to share. So we love to see you, love to hear some live back and forth for our next. So look out for us in September. Okie dokes. And so let's get into what the objectives are for the masterclass. And so, what you'll gain from this presentation. So, we want you to understand common postpartum challenges and how to navigate them easily, learning practical, actionable steps to activate your core and move confidently, even when you are not in the gym. It's like day-to-day movement matters. And then discover how the Strong Mama method, a gentle yet powerful approach to reclaiming your body, works. And lastly, we want you to feel empowered and supported on your journey to lasting strength and balance. So, meet the team. In the middle, you can see Dr. Lisa. She was on the live. You will not see her today, but you will see her on the other videos. So we are a dedicated team of experts passionate about supporting mamas on their journey to strengthen confidence after childbirth. And so, yes, we understand the unique challenges you face, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. And so we have a team of occupational and physical therapists, pelvic health PTs, and maternal health OTs. And so what we like to say is we created this program because too many mamas feel stuck in a body that doesn't feel like theirs. And here's what we want you to know right away: that you are not broken, you are not behind, you just haven't had the right support until now. And so we'd like to welcome you to your journey back to strength, mama. And so before we even dive into the different topics, you are welcome to take a moment to pause the video or pause the recording and think about what is the one thing you need to feel supported as a mom right now. So we'll pause for a quick beat, but definitely pause your video. And then we're gonna dive a little bit more into some of the common myths that you might hear.
Absolutely. Before we even get started with the meat of our presentation today, we really want to just clear out some of the noise, bust some of those myths that might be out there. The first one being, you might have heard wait 6 weeks before you do anything postpartum. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. And by waiting 6 weeks, the method or the theology or the theory behind that is that you are waiting until there is tissue healing. And while that is true, whether you've had a C-section or a vaginal delivery, you still can start some gentle breath work and posture alignment from day one. And what that's going to do is help you to retrain those muscles to act appropriately and engage appropriately so that you can build strength. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but that gentle breath work also is going to expand you in areas that might have been restricted when you were carrying baby. So definitely something that we want to bust, a myth that we want to bust there. Another one is that pain is just a normal part of motherhood. So if I'm pregnant, I'm going to be in pain. If I'm postpartum, I'm going to be in pain. That actually also is a myth that we want to bust. So pain is actually just a message, but it's not a requirement. So what we mean by that is when something is happening in your body, your brain wants you to pay attention to it, so it'll set off an alarm system called pain. It's your brain's way of telling you something needs to change, in order to turn that alarm system off. But what we like to do and coach on in our Balanced Mama Project is the fact that you can do things to prevent that alarm system from even going off in the first place. So pain, it is common, yes, it is common, but it is not a normal part of motherhood. Also, third thing is that strength means that I have to go back to the gym. Okay, in real life, real life, we do not always have time to go to the gym. We do not always have time for 1 hour, 2 hour workout, even sometimes a 30-minute workout. Really, strength begins with what you are doing on a daily basis, right? So all of your daily activities, all your daily movements, that's what's going to build strength. And so we're going to go into our strong mama method, which is going to explain a little bit more about how to build that strength in those day-to-day activities. So the first part of the strong mama method is listen to the whispers. So you might be like, well, Dr. Val, what even is a whisper? What are the whispers? It's that your body is speaking to you quietly at first. So your body might, have a twinge here, not necessarily pain, but you might be like, oh, maybe I did that in a weird way, or something along those lines. If you are laughing or sneezing or coughing and you have just a wee little bit of urine come out, right? Maybe you think to yourself, oh, it wasn't my full bladder. I didn't have a full leakage. Well, we don't want that, and we don't want leakage at all. Um, you could be experiencing some frequent exhaustion or fatigue or tiredness. That could be also something that, your body is telling you as a whisper to let you know that it wants you to correct something before it starts to scream at you. And so we have actually a little example with our very own Dr. Lisa, and she's given us permission to share her story in this recording. But our very own Dr. Lisa, during her first pregnancy, if you know anything about Dr. Lisa, if you've had any brief conversation with her, you know that she is all or nothing. She will go
Yes.
for whatever she wants to do.
Yes, she
Dr.
does.
Sayah knows she's gonna do the thing, right? And so during her first pregnancy, she was walking like 5 miles a day. Like she was walking heavily. Doctor said, right? About 5 miles. She was walking
Yes. And at 4 miles per hour, she will say, be like 3.8 miles per hour. I was like, you're walking fast and you're walking far, ma'am.
walking
You're
fast
doing
and
a lot.
walking far. Exactly, exactly. So she was 5 months pregnant. She started noticing some really severe pubic bone pain and some sciatic pain that was traveling down into her bottom. It hadn't yet reached her legs, but she was, a little bit timid, a little bit scared of going on her longer walks. And so she did reach out to Dr. Saya because they used to work in the same building together. And so she did reach out to Dr. Say and said, hey, could you check me out, girl? I don't know what's going on, but I really want to walk. Well, after going through kind of this mini strong mama method with Dr. Saya, Dr. Saya accurately diagnosed that really what it is Dr. Lisa needed to walk a little bit slower, right? She was used to a
Yeah.
faster pace, but due to the changes in her body, exactly, Dr. due to the changes in Dr. Lisa's body, in any woman who is going through pregnancy, it's important to keep the strides smaller. So Dr. Saya and I, we were saying, you don't want to do this.
This.
This is too much. We want you to be here, right? Smaller. But we also don't want you to waddle. So we
Not
won't
this.
want you to be side to side either, y'all. So it's
No.
not this. It's not side to side.
We're
It's a
here.
good happy in between, okay? Because of the laxity or the looseness in the ligaments. All right. So then Dr. Saya said, okay, and then also let's think about not walking as far, right? We always want to do things in a range that feels good to your body. At the point in which it does not feel good to your body, listen to those whispers. We're gonna cut those out for a little bit, okay? Till we can maybe strengthen, stretch, whatever we need to do to address it. And speaking of which, Dr. Saya also gave Dr. Lisa a brace, right, to help
Yes.
support with all that laxity, that looseness that was happening and going on there. So Dr. Saya got Dr. Lisa through a little bit of the Strong Mama method to really
Yeah.
start paying attention and listening to those whispers that were happening in the body.
Yes, it was nice to see her back to going on her walks, not being stressed about if the pain was going to set in, and she was back to hiking. Dr. Lisa did everything to the fullest. When I tell you everything, everything to the fullest. And
Everything.
so that is our share for her.
So think about for a moment, you can pause the recording again and think about what whispers have you ignored? What whispers have you ignored? You can just pause the recording and come back when you're ready. And we will move through to step 2 of the Strong Mama method.
I like it. I like it. Thanks, Dr. Val. So this section we talk about activating your core, and where it says floor, we mean your pelvic floor. You might be able to check out some of our other podcasts where we do a deeper dive, talking a little bit about pelvic floor, talking a bit more about the core. But for today, we're gonna go over some simple motions, some simple movements that you can incorporate into your everyday life. I'll leave my disclaimer for later. Our first thing, so we are gonna make sure you can see me well. I'm gonna angle. You're just gonna see my mid body, ideally. Oh, let me stay forward. So we want to stack your ribs over your pelvis, so over your hips. So if you had a hand on the rib cage or two hands on the rib cage, you want to be able to slide them down. They should land right on your hips. If by chance you are arched forward, when you slide it down, it's going to go in front of the hips. If you were hunched, if you slide it down, it's going to go behind the hips. So we say ribs right over the hips in a nice cylinder. So while we're right here, I want you to take a moment, taking a big breath in through the nose, letting the rib cage expand in all directions. So you want to see that bucket, not even bucket handle. You want to see the handles go out to the side. Yes, like Dr. Val has. And then big exhale, like you're blowing out a birthday candle. And so let's try that deep breath in one more time. And this time we're going to engage our lower belly. So as you exhale, tighten the lowest parts of the belly in towards the spine. Imagine you're putting on snug jeans and you're trying to get that low belly in. Beautiful. And then let's do, I told a story, now one extra breath. We're doing a couple more extra breaths. Another breath in through the nose, letting those ribs expand. And this time as you exhale, imagine squeezing as if you're holding in urine or gas. So that area right between your sit bones. You want to feel a squeeze and a lift like Dr. Val showed. And so let's combine both motions and then we'll do our disclaimer. So one last inhale. If you struggle with one or the other, pick a muscle to engage. As you exhale, tighten lower belly, tighten pelvic floor, and then relax them both. Relaxing is just as important as engaging. No, we are not telling you to do 99 Kegels or to tighten your belly all day. We do need the muscles to be relaxed. Unless we are intentionally engaging. And so that is a talk for another day, but it's just to get you started. And so we did this section because the core, the breath, and the pelvic floor are integral in returning to safe movement and even in regaining strength. They are often neglected portions of the body. And so if we do, we're going to do another Thrive report. So I was working with a client. She was about 3 months postpartum. I saw her during her pregnancy. A lot of times I'll see people in the prenatal and the postpartum time period. And she, avid volleyball player, she was having some issues with urine leaks and had some tailbone pain and was feeling discouraged with recovery and a bit embarrassed to get back into her sport because she's like, I don't want to leak while I am sporting. And so we had talked and it was like, well, what's going on? How have we prepared ourselves to get back into sport? And it's like, no, I thought my body was just going to get back into it. And sometimes that is the thought. So we're going to tell you now, we do like to do those activating the core, activating the pelvic floor. That's one of the things I do with almost every client that comes in. Because it's like before you get into high level activities, we need to make sure your core stabilizers are kicking on. And so these address some of the silent whispers. When we talk about leakage, when we talk about back pain, hip pain, a lot of times these are related to either stability or related to mobility, so how those regions are moving. And so we worked on the basics and then we built upon them. And so at about that 5 month mark, she was feeling more confident in her movements. She was back to playing volleyball competitively and not leaking. She was energized, she was excited to be out there, and this translated into being energized and excited and engaged in her home life as well. She had the most beautiful baby girl. And so I just like to put this out there because I'm like, no matter what step you are in your recovery, it never hurts to go back to the basics. Make sure that you have them down and then build upon that to get to feeling excited, feeling confident, not being embarrassed about going out into the community because you're leaking. Like, those are not things or places we want you to be. We want you to be confident.
Correct.
And so,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so confidence, a lot of times people will say, I need to feel strong in order to feel confident. And so we want to talk to you. The third step of the strong mama method is to move smart, not hard. So you really don't need a lot of weight. You just need some wisdom on how to move in order to strengthen your body. So when you think about, in the early postpartum stages or postpartum toddlerhood stages, squatting to pick up toys is something you're frequently doing, likely. Early postpartum, you're hinging at the hips to lift the baby, maybe taking them out of the pack and play or the lowered crib. Also thinking about activating your core as you before you're carrying the stroller, before you're carrying the car seat, before you're carrying the baby, and aligning that posture during feeding, making sure that, again, as Dr. Saiah had us stack our ribs over our hips, that's something that you're maintaining, that you're not curving back in. So Dr. Saiah is showing you how your posture should be even when you're feeding, right? A lot of times we want to curve over and start looking at the baby, bring that baby right up to you. With a lot of, there are different pillows and different techniques that we can use to make sure that your ergonomics or your environment is are exactly what they should be, so that you are able to use the muscles in your body appropriately to gain that strength. So we're going to talk a little bit more about moving smarter, not harder, in a little example that I have about a bike. So our 2 year old, my husband and I have a 2 year old, and she just turned to just early this month, right? So we got her one of those bikes that don't have pedals. So it's called either a strider or a balance bike. So she has the bars, the handlebars, and then the wheels, but no pedals. So much like, also, my husband and I are not very tall individuals, and so much like this little kid on this bike right here, our daughter's feet barely touch the floor when she's on this little bike. So we took it to my father-in-law's place, and my husband took the first lap of taking her around the house on this bike, this new bike. So he goes around, he comes back to like our start line, and he's like, "Listen, watch out, your lower back might be killing you afterwards. Watch out." And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because I have a method. I have an idea, right? So I took myself through this step of the strong mama method, because I was like, I need to move smarter, not harder. I'm taking her around this entire house. That's some endurance. I need to start using my muscles well. So I took my body, and if this part is my legs, I hinged myself forward. So Dr. Say is going to do a nice little demonstration, kind of like when you would do a sit to stand, but you lean from your hips, right? And then you start to move. So I was in standing, and I leaned forward at my hips and was helping our daughter out on her bike. That way I was able to breathe properly. My ribs and my pelvis were still in alignment, and I was able to engage my core and my pelvic floor, which is also really important during that kind of a movement as well. So nice little hip hinge. I was able to engage all the right muscles, use my glute muscles as well. Didn't have any back pain. I said, don't worry, Don't worry, babe. I got you. I will teach you this part of the
Yes.
strong mama method.
Yes. The men folk need it too. We all have the pelvic floors. We all have the cores.
We do.
Yes.
We do. Absolutely.
And so I love that you mentioned the hip hinge. If you check out our first masterclass, you can see another demo. You might, yes, it might not disappear into the background. You'll see another demo what the hip hinge looks like, and you are welcome to practice it with us. And so a lot of times we teach these things so people will move from a survival space to a thriving space. And so so we say, so we want you to move from surviving to thriving. I had another client who had came in. She's a mom of three. When I first met her, she was a mom of two, and there was one growing tiny one in the belly. We had talked while she was still pregnant, and I said, hey, I know you are active. You are not going to be able to, typically, you are not recommended to just hop back into running without doing any strength training. I said, and oftentimes we recommend that people wait 3 months before they get back into their high impact activities. So we worked together during pregnancy. And then I saw her, we'll say a couple of months into her postpartum time period, and she's like, hey, and now it's her, and she has three little boys. Again, they came every session. I love the dedication. This mama was doing it. But she said, I did try to run at about the 2 month mark. And I said, well, how did it go? Because I'm always going to ask, how did it go? She was like, I was doing it. And then I felt like something was dropping and it felt like I might have to move my bowels. And I was like, oh, so we need to check what's going on. Did you keep running? She was like, I paused on running after that because I know we had talked about it. And so that's why I just wanted to circle back. And I was like, well, it's always good to see you. Let's do a check in. Yes, there is something called prolapse, so when our organs and things shift. And so we said, hey, this is why oftentimes we'll say do a pause on high impact activities immediately in that postpartum because we don't want any prolapse, we don't want urine leakage, we don't want any of these things to happen. We want to give the body time to heal. But even in that case, I said, hey, let's work on the basics. So re-engaging the core, looking at how you're breathing, re-engaging the pelvic floor, making or really emphasizing the strong mama method, and let's build on that. We can do higher level activities. We did put a pause on the running. Was she thrilled? No. We did have some negotiations in between time, like, hey, this is for the mental health. We can talk about a little short jog and then a pause. But when she finally got, so we'll say 6 to 8 weeks later, when she finally got back into running, she was like, I feel stronger than I did after my second, like, this is the strongest I felt after any of my children. And I'm like, so this is not just for first time moms, whether you're first time mom, third time mom, fifth time mom. I even had a mom of 10. I'm like, no matter how many kitties in, you can still feel like your strongest self when you have the right tools and you have the right support. And so she went from feeling like isolated, overwhelmed, not being able to participate in her sport, so that survival mode, into thriving because running gave her that break and feeling excited, feeling strong, being able to engage better because she had her time to herself and could run without feeling like, oh, something's falling, something's leaking. Like, again, none of those things. And so we want to see more of the mamas go from the survival space to the thriving space, and we would love to help you get there. And so,
Absolutely. We're really, really big on going from that surviving mode to the thriving mode. We have seen transformations from, I mean, countless hundreds of clients going from that fear of movement, some irritability, even maybe even some soreness or anxiety and disconnection, going and moving towards and moving into some confidence with movement. We've seen people go from from feeling like they're sore and irritable to strength building during those daily tasks that we were talking about before, and making just overall providing some holistic wellness and peace and balance mentally and emotionally. So we've seen all of these things happen with hundreds and hundreds. We've given you some examples, but we've seen it with hundreds and hundreds of clients. And so we're very, very excited to have the opportunity to potentially take you as well through that Strong Mama method and through the entire Balanced Mama Project. So we keep talking about the Balanced Mama Project. We are the Balanced Mama Project. What even is it? So we actually have four different tenets of the Balanced Mama Project, and I'll talk a little bit with you about them right now. So the first is the nervous system and emotional regulation. So that's focusing on calming down that fight or flight nervous system that happens with hormone shifts and during pregnancy and postpartum. It can really happen at any point in time with the state of the world right now. Anything can set off the nervous system, but finding that balance, finding that calm is going to help set you up for success to move into the body wisdom and physical vitality. That's where we address pain and posture and really overall well movement, and knowing how to listen to those whispers, knowing how to move smarter, not harder, knowing how to engage the core and the floor properly. We move then, after you've gotten those foundational things down, then we move into mental health and identity support. So we would be remiss if we did not mention that during pregnancy, postpartum, oh my goodness, you are completely transforming into this beautiful being, but it is also, we have to acknowledge that it's a very difficult shift. And so we walk you through reclaiming self and remembering that there are things that you enjoy. And so we help you to find those ways to connect in postpartum and in pregnancy, with others and with yourself. And then after all is said and done, at the very end, we take you through holistic motherhood skills. So what that is we walk through feeding, baby wearing, playing with the baby, different ergonomic setups in the house, just to make sure that you overall have touched every single point that you are felt like you were struggling with. And so the ways that we do this are, we talk with you individually, one on one. We also provide a comprehensive resource library that really just has lots and lots of tools there for you at readily at your fingertips that you can pull on. And then we also allow for a community, and that's really the biggest part for us too, is that supportive community of mamas who just completely understand what you're going through. We cannot stress enough how big and how important community is. So we'd love to take the next step with you and have you book a call with us to just talk through your journey, talk through those whispers that you might be ignoring, or whatever you might feel like you are struggling with. We'd love to talk with you and help you to feel stronger, more confident. If you're ready to kind of thrive, as we have been explaining in our Thrive reports, please, please, please book a call with us. We'll make sure to send that to you via email. And then what's really awesome right now is we do have, we're doing a $500 off offer right now. And so if you do choose to sign up within a week of receiving this particular recording, you will receive $500 off, which is all, who does not like a good discount? That's me. I do. So,
We do.
and we do. So we are super excited to chat with you, to talk with you, to walk you through how you can go from surviving to thriving. And if you have any questions, we are here for you. You can stay connected with us. Please take a screenshot of this page or pause this recording and jot down how to stay connected with us on Instagram or through our website. But if you have any questions specifically about what we've talked about here today, please do not hesitate to reach out to us via email. That's info@balancedmamaproject.com. That's where you'll be receiving this recording. Please hit reply and ask us any questions. We are here for you. We're so excited to help you through this journey. So we are going to end here. We are so grateful for your time. Thank you so much for being a part of our beautiful tribe, our beautiful community. And that's all for now. Stay balanced, mamas.
Stay balanced.